Dylan Thomas, one of the most eminent British poets of the mid-20th century, wrote some of the most riveting, passionate, and eloquent poetry in modern literature. From the publication of his first book, 18 Poems, in 1934, critics recognized him as an original and brilliant poet. The volume captivated readers with its extraordinary musical and verbal energy, as well as its exploration of emotional extremes. These extremes, alternately joyful and somber, reveal Thomas's fascinations with religion, love, death, and the sound of words. Born in Swansea, Wales, on October 27, 1914, Thomas attended the Swansea Grammar School, where he received all of his formal education. Thomas most likely inherited his literary and intellectual abilities from his father, David John, an English teacher and would-be poet. From his mother, Florence, he inherited his temperament, simple mood, and respect for his Celtic heritage. Thomas's literary career was hindered due to his growing audience and busy schedule. While on a poetry reading tour, Thomas passed away on November 9, 1953, at the age of 39 in New York City. One of the poems I enjoy most from Thomas's collections is Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, a poem that explores the helplessness associated with growing old and inching towards death. For the most part, it is evident that this is a poem about death and dying. However, it becomes apparent that this poem is also about life and how it is lived. Dylan's choice of language, as well as poetic structure of Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, employs certain techniques that arouse deep imagery throughout the poem. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rage at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright, their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned, too late, they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. When Thomas states in the second line of the first stanza, old age should burn and rage at the close of day, rage, rage against the dying of that light, Thomas is expressing the idea that approaching death should not be a discrete action, but rather a fight we should engage in to depart in a blaze of glory. This first stanza almost acts as something of a thesis statement for the rest of the poem, since it clearly defines and outlines the speaker's beliefs about aging and death, that, quote, wise men at their end know dark is right, end quote, and the continued emphasis of not easily succumbing to one's inevitable demise. I particularly like Thomas's wide use of evocative literary devices. For example, quote, old age should burn and rave, end quote, in line 2 is a combination of metonymy and personification. Line 8, quote, their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay, end quote, employs personification and metaphor. Line 10, quote, wild men who sang the sun in flight, end quote, is hyperbole and metaphor. Line 13, grave is a pun, blinding sight is an oxymoron, and blind eyes could blaze like meteors is a simile. This variety of literary techniques helps me understand the poem's message. The command to the father not to accept death so easily lends itself to the contrast between day and night, which becomes somewhat symbolic for life and death. Thomas may be afraid of death, but remembers the importance of gaining wisdom and maintaining strength through the end.